Nice.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, as one who opposed the invasion of Iraq and as one who has led efforts to end the occupation of Iraq, I rise today to support the orderly and responsible Iraq Redeployment Appropriations Act of 2007. And first, I'd like to thank Speaker Pelosi, Chairman Obey, and Murther for really crafting this historic legislation that takes the first step to end the occupation of Iraq. This bill's main purpose is to begin to fund the end of this occupation. This is also the very first time that this Congress will explicitly tie funding to bringing our troops home. It mandates a start date for the President to begin redeployment of our brave troops within 30 days of his signature. It also once again puts Congress on record prohibiting the establishment of permanent military bases and United States economic control of Iraqi oil and also of torture. Mr. Speaker, this legislation, of course, is not perfect. I strongly feel that there should be additional clarity on the numbers and nature of U.S. forces that remain for protection of diplomats and training of Iraqi forces. And given the President's determination to protect his legacy by allowing the occupation to continue indefinitely, we really must be wary of providing him opportunities to prolong or extend this war. So we made sure in this legislation that this bill explicitly states, and I quote, that the primary purpose of this $50 billion should be to transition the mission, redeploy troops in Iraq, and not to extend or prolong the war. But I'm also disappointed that the end date in this legislation is a goal no later than December 2008, but hopefully the Senate will pass this and send it to the President. Now, this legislation does conform. It does conform to what Congresswoman Waters and Woolsey and myself have been working on all year. Earlier this year, we authored the Lee Amendment that stipulates funding for Iraq should be used to fully fund the safe and orderly redeployment of our troops from Iraq. We did this way back in March. Now, 92 members of Congress wrote to the President to put him on notice to this effect. So I'm glad that this remains the main purpose of this legislation. This legislation represents, for many of us, may I have an additional 30 seconds?
The woman has 30 additional seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This legislation represents a very important step forward to end the combat operations in Iraq. Otherwise, believe you me, I would never vote for it. Mr. Speaker, this legislation does not give the President a blank check for his occupation. It provides a down payment on redeploying our troops from Iraq and ending the occupation. It clearly says that these funds are to be used to begin to end the death, the violence, and the destruction that the Bush administration has brought on Iraq, which he has brought on our brave young men and women and our country and the world. So I thank you, and I yield my time.
Gentleman's time has expired.